What if Napoleon Bonaparte had Google Maps to plan his famous 1812 invasion? Imagine this. It's June 24th, 1812. Napoleon's standing at the edge of the Russian border, holding an iPhone 15 Pro Max with 5G. He opens Google Maps, types Moscow, and hits Start. The blue line stretches east, ETA, 2 months. Distance, 1,100 kilometers. The app says, light traffic ahead. Napoleon grins. He ignores his scouts because the blue line promises a faster route. He treats this massive land invasion like a 2 a.m. Uber Eats order that's definitely going to arrive on time. Spoiler, it doesn't. This is the story of how real-time traffic updates, satellite imagery, and fiber optic speed couldn't save the greatest tactical failure in history. Because the problem wasn't bad signal, it was bad ego. The army marches. 422,000 men, 50,000 horses, 1,100 kilometers of open road. Napoleon's watching the blue line, confident. But here's the thing about Google Maps in 1812 Russia. There's no data. The Russians have disappeared. They're not on Waze. They're not checking in on Foursquare. They're gone. Satellite view reveals the problem. Scorched earth, villages on fire, fields black, granaries empty. The Russians are burning their own country so Napoleon can't eat it. Now, any normal person would turn back, but Napoleon's looking at his phone, refreshing the map, waiting for the red dots to turn green. It must be a glitch, he thinks. The algorithm fails to calculate general winter as a road hazard. It doesn't know that scorched earth means no restaurants along this route. The blue line keeps going, straight into a dead zone. At Smolensk, the army stops. They've marched 500 kilometers. They're tired, they're hungry. And Napoleon's phone? No signal. 0 bars. Just a spinning wheel of death while his empire burns. He frantically scrolls through 1-star reviews of Moscow, but the reviews haven't loaded. Must be the cloud, he mutters. The irony? 422,000 men started this march. By the time they reach Borodino, there's barely 130,000 left, and the blue line still says arriving in 10 minutes. September 7th, 1812. Borodino, the bloodiest day of the campaign. 70,000 men lie dead or dying on a field the size of central Paris. Napoleon rides through the carnage, head bowed. He checks his phone. 15% battery, still no signal. He pockets it and rides on toward Moscow. September 14th, 1812. Napoleon finally enters Moscow. He's been on the road for 3 months. His phone battery is at 15%, and the city, empty. Not just empty, burning. The Russians have set their own capital on fire. Napoleon stands in the Kremlin, watching the flames, refreshing Google Maps to see if there's another Moscow nearby. There isn't. He waits. A week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks. He's checking his phone every 5 minutes, waiting for the Russians to surrender. But the Russians are offline. They've turned on airplane mode and thrown their phones in the river. Meanwhile, real-time tracking shows the Grande Armée's heartbeat icons slowly flickering out. Soldiers freeze to death. Horses collapse. The supply lines lose bars and enter permanent roaming state. October 19th, Napoleon finally decides to leave. Too late. The temperature has dropped to -10. His phone? Dead. No charger, no portable battery, no solar panel. Just a black screen reflecting his own failure. He's now navigating by instinct, which, if you've been following along, is exactly how he got here in the first place. The retreat begins. 100,000 men trying to walk back 1,100 kilometers through a frozen hellscape. Napoleon tries to use Street View to find a shortcut at the Berezina River. Big mistake. Street View hasn't been updated since the 1700s. The bridges are made of sticks and prayers. The Russians attack exactly when the app says heavy traffic ahead. Meanwhile, the army's GPS is all over the place. The vanguard has 5G, the rear guard is stuck on 2G, and the middle hasn't had signal since Smolensk. Orders arrive late. Troops get separated. The whole formation looks like a multiplayer game with 400 ping. Recalculating becomes the most terrifying sound a defeated conqueror can hear, because every recalculation means another 10,000 men who won't make it home. By the time they cross back into Poland, 10,000 men remain, out of 422,000. That's a 97% loss rate. If this were an Amazon delivery, Napoleon would be asking for a refund. The smartphone battery dies just as the army crosses the border. Napoleon stands in the snow holding a dead phone, staring at a dead empire. He finally understands something that Google Maps could never tell him, that all the data in the world can't save a leader who ignores the physical limits of human endurance, that real-time traffic updates mean nothing when the road leads nowhere, that satellite imagery is just a picture of your own failure, taken from high enough that you can't see the bodies. The screen fades to black. We realize the greatest tactical failure in history wasn't about bad signal, it was about bad ego. We have 5G, we have AI, we have satellites, and we're still lost because some things never change.